Do you hear the captain sing, crying out across the stars? It is the anthem of the players, crushed beneath the endless stars.
When the packs are 99 and the servers barely run, then the game becomes a prison and the players say,
we're done.
Will you join the cause today? Raise your banners through the void. Stand together as a people. Make the galaxy annoyed. When the credits fuel the chains and the joy is sold away, we will fight for what was promised and we'll take the game we play. Will you buy or will you fight for a fleet that's truly free? Will you pay $100 just to grind the same debris? Same debris. Same debris.
From the Borg to Romulan space, from the stars to Klingon war, every captain swears together we won't pay them anymore.
Do you hear the captain sing of the bugs they will not bear, of the lag that steals the battles, of the devs who do not care?
When the players take a stand and the cash flow starts to fall,
And the overlords will answer to the captain's one and all. This is more than just a game.
it's the fleets we've built with pride.
You can't price away our honor. You can't steal the Trek inside. When the stars are ours to claim, and the night begins to dawn,
Then tomorrow's trek is ours and the battle will be
Woo! Look, it's dramatic, but I like it. Welcome in, everybody. Happy last day of 2025. There's no more 2025s anymore. This is it. Today's the last one. And then we'll enter into another year of Star Trek Fleet Command shenanigans, fun, goofiness, and all the things that you know and love. So, welcome in. I hope you're doing well. And if you're not, well, dang it, hopefully I can help you do well. I know there's plenty of people who are frustrated about the events that rolled out. Well, could have seen that coming. And, just go ahead and prepare you for it. Might as well hit you while you're already upset. You'll be really upset with the new system that rolls out in January. But, end of the day, what makes this game great has always been the same thing. The community. It's the friends that you make. It's the game that you play with your friends. So, as always, ignore FOMO. Have fun. Right? Ignore FOMO. Have fun. So, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on y'all. We're going to focus on where your accounts are at, little tips and tricks that everybody can share with each other, and finding what we can do to just be better at what we're doing. And basically ignoring all the things on the top right of our screen, focusing more on the bottom left and the top left of our screen. So if we can manage to do that, I think we're going to have a good day. I think my Ultravetica bug has a small leak at the bottom because I'm putting rings everywhere. Ultravetica, if you're out there, I need a new mug. All right, so let's dry this puppy off, and then I think my ceramic's got a little crack in it. Yup, right there. I even see it. Well, biscuits and gravy. Okie dokie. Well, that's good. I'll have to go contact my nearest guy from New Zealand and get a new mug. Anyway, welcome in, everybody. Tibbs says, ignore FOMO, have fun. That sounds like a t-shirt slogan. Check yours out on revenues.com. Now, Tibbs, have you seen next month's, not to like talk over everybody else, because they deserve to know things, but obviously I don't want to get people in trouble. You've seen the next couple months, right? Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, good to see you, Jay. Welcome in. Pamu saying good to see you. Yeah, welcome in, Caledon. Welcome in, Paulo. Welcome in, James, Dozer, D-Woo, MB, Roland, Dustin, James, everybody. Welcome them in. I do hope y'all are having a fantastic... Look, it is New Year's Eve. Now, me and my wife are going to go out tonight, but we still plan on doing a ball drop stream. So if y'all are into that stuff, that'll be on Twitch tonight. But today, let's get into STFC. Talk about all the different things going on, right? It's fun. Bob, good to see you as well. Looking forward about info, what is coming. So I'll put out stuff next week about the rollout. And as always, what I'm trying to do is be objective, and I'm trying to wait for it as it comes out. But having seen and heard what I have so far, there are definitely good things about the next 2 months. Let me put it this way. If you're a Star Trek fan, there are definitely some things I like the next 2 months in terms of lore. But other than that, there's gonna be some frustrations. But at the same time, I think most people who play this game regularly have gotten to the point that if you're still around, you're no longer focusing on the event stuff for your happiness anyway. You're focused on the community aspect. And I think that's really important. And being good in terms of community aspect, a lot of times means working on getting your account better. We're gonna talk about that today. So I think that'll help a lot of players. Anybody that wants to do that, I think last week we did G5 accounts. Is that correct? I think we did G5 accounts, or was it 2 weeks? No, it was last week. G5 accounts. We're going to either do G4 and G6 or G7 and G4. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we're going to try to help anybody that wants help get into a position where they feel like they are stronger, better, happier. So yeah, ignore G1, G2 accounts. I do ignore G1 account. If we do have anybody who just happens to be level 15 here, because they have been running a lot of sponsorships with various content creators. I'm not sure how many of you pay attention to stuff like that. I think it's good to keep y'all informed though. They've been running a lot of promotions. There was, for example, a girl on Twitch that I was watching, which is again, another streaming platform. Obviously it focuses generally towards a younger audience, but I was watching on Twitch, there was a girl with 800 people live. So at one time, I mean, today's stream, depending on how many people come around, we'll have 200, 300 people live. So double what you'll see me put out on a normal Wednesday was playing the game and promoting it and getting their followers to play. They've been doing a lot of that over the past 2 or 3 months, trying to get more and more people to get into STFC. So we do have a few new people, but at the same time, not everything has changed for most of you. So the one thing to point out, now I can't tell y'all all specific servers because I'm still waiting on confirmation of the list, but just as a reminder to get the news part of the early stream out of the way, as a reminder that I've been trying to get based on y'all's feedback, so also I feel like I got to make the camera smaller so you don't see the screen better. So 1 second, there we go. But for many of you servers who've been looking for Ascension, that's going to be happening in January. Now, again, I can't give you a full list because I don't want to be like, hey, and then it not happen. Because I know some, I don't know all that are ascending. But for example, server 710, one of my servers is ascending, and it was part of a group that I've been arguing for to get ascended. So if you're one of the people looking for that, if you're waiting and you're sitting at the lock, or you've got people in your alliance who are waiting, good news, Ascension for several servers happening in January as well. So, lots of good stuff. Lots of good stuff. Did you see the unintended go live of the updated field training? Yep, that's happened multiple times. Usay. Now, people might have missed it. There was a field training, I guess you could call it like a preview, that popped up. It quickly went down, but they've been working on that for a while. There are a couple of them. There are different ones for, low levels. Y'all saw some G1 field training, stuff like that. But yeah, field training as a concept is not dead, believe it or not. And y'all did see like a preview of something that wasn't supposed to roll out for many of your accounts. So the good thing is, when there are some negatives that we have with the game, there are also positives being worked on. And I've said for a while, and maybe this isn't something that people want to hear, but I truly do feel this way. The lower portion of the game is where STFC is the best right now. Some would argue it's always been that way, but I feel like it's really that way. As in, you start the game over now, your experience is significantly better than how it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, etc. And I personally think it's certainly better than G7. However, I will say G7, I am jealous about the Veil chat. I still think that's a win, even though most Veil chats are pretty dead. I was looking at I was actually looking at two different Veil chats. I think it was US1 and US2 yesterday. And one of them hadn't had anybody talk in Veil chat for like 9 hours. It was pretty dead. But I still love the concept of it. I think that's really neat. Anything community-wise, I think is great for the game. So, yeah, Paul says, I love field training, best way to teach and rewards. I agree. I think field training is great. I would love to be able to release the video about some of the updated field training. It's just not here yet. So hopefully we'll get to do that in the future. Here in 2026, lots of things to look forward to, several quality of lives that are coming, and we'll focus on all the good things, and we'll just try to ignore FOMO and have fun on all of the rest. So, Pommy says G6 is okay, but the fun is declining slowly but surely. G4 and G5 are really good. I just missed the G3 heyday. Well, see, I'd say the G3 heyday is right now. And what I would say is what you're currently describing, Usain, is the normal path of how this game structures itself. The further you progress, and they've been really making it to where you can progress really fast. As I've said, you can G6 and early G7 completely free to play right now. But the intent is just to get more people to move up faster, and doing that is all designed around creating a level of frustration that gets you to a point where you're like, dang it, I gotta spend, right? That's the hope, right? So for example, this would be, something that many of you have no idea exists, but did you know there are special packs for new players now that take build times down to like 20 seconds, allowing you to get to like level 40 plus very quickly, right? They have special packs they've started releasing that allow you to just blow through levels. The only problem is you get to level 40 and you have no officers, you have no special ships, you don't know what the heck you're doing, but guess what? You're level 40 and you now have a lot of loops. So again, it's as long as we can prepare people, help people that need it, that's where we come in. I won't just say me. That's where we come in as a group and as a community to help everybody out. Good to see Time Lord. Happy New Year to you as well. Merry Christmas if I didn't tell you already. Do we need a BP cover to convert lower grade blueprints into high level blueprints? There's no way to do that. You cannot convert lower level blueprints into high level blueprints. Now, it has been requested for many years for that to exist. Tibbs can tell you that I've seen Tibbs talk about that. Plenty of people have brought up that needed to be a feature in the game. That's currently not a thing. So yeah, you can't do that, sadly. But that'd be great. When those trains launch, it'd be a huge benefit to those new accounts doing sponsored streams. 100%. Tibbs, you are absolutely correct. They will. And again, I do think the field training stuff is a positive. Like, again, I think it's important to find the good, not necessarily ignore the bad, call out the bad, but find the good. And that's definitely some good. I mean, and if you saw that field training preview, you could see there's a lot of good stuff in that. So yeah, about how good it sees, I need help with my account. Ops 70 with a tier 8 Crenshaw. Equivalent board Q, but I have to punch down to a 63 outpost as I can't finish a 66. And although I can beat a 70 outpost, I die after only 15 reds. Well, I'll be honest, 15 reds into a 70 is not terrible, right? So you're not coming from the bottom is what we're saying. So we'll definitely put you on the list of, well, I'll keep you around. I think we're going to start with G4 and then we're going to jump to G6. My brain is telling me we started with G5 last time. So I'm just trying to spread it out. But Valhalla, if nothing else, remember, you can always contact me directly. I'm also assuming you're only using 2 ships right now because you don't have the building at 40, nor did you buy FC Cisco. But again, we can definitely cover that. You're doing better than a lot of people at your level. But yeah, will you release your background music someday? It's already there. It's Bruno. It's on my Discord. If you go into my rules and helps channel, the Discord, the links to both the playlists that we wrote are on there. If I can beat level 53 regular outpost, but not complete level 56 regular, is it feasible that I'm already strong enough to beat a 53 elite? Depends. How far into the 56 are you getting, right? 53 elites are a little bit tougher, not a lot. Now, I do want to add this in 1, 2, 3. Keep in mind the directives are different, but you definitely want to be doing a 53 elite because you get more plunder no matter what. The big benefit, in case y'all don't remember or maybe never learned, that the outposts, the elite ones, give out plunder for every hostile, whereas the regular outposts only give out plunder for the last wave, so the second wave set. So that means that you will immediately start earning more plunder than you would otherwise. So you do want to do them. The question is for you, do you do a 53 or a 50? But either way, we do want to make sure that you're doing the elites when you have the directives, of course. And here, let me put on the screen. Let me go grab it. 1 second. Put on the screen what those payouts are so that we can all be informed together. So here's the outpost loot map. This is the regular one at the top, regular outpost, 600 to start. Wave 1 of a regular outpost, as you can see, it's right up here. Does not pay out plunder, but it does pay out the metals, which you need to get like ROM and such. And then wave 2, which is the last 30 of a regular one, pays out plunder. Now you get down to the elites, you'll see plunder is available at all times and at a higher clip than your previous run, but they are slightly more difficult. And I don't want to say slightly because a 50 elite versus a 50 regular is not a tremendous difference. The main thing is you're having to survive, 73 total battles, right? Which is why we've been talking so much about the importance of Picard Hue, right? Having that regenerative ability there. Why we have a lot of people doing 1 of 11 and 5 of 11 for the shields, getting better mitigation for the shields there. And there's some tactics that you can do that increase survivability, which is really the focus. Anything that boosts hull health, anything that repairs the hull is very important. And we've even gone as far as saying to use Valhalla as an example, because Valhalla says they're at level 70. One thing that we've been talking about is if you are planning into going into G7, there are some requirements. One of those being Wrath of Khan Joaquin maxed out, Picard Hue preferably maxed out, Wrath of Khan Carol doesn't work on Outpost, but again, for going into G7, extremely important as below deck officers must-haves. And then you have Suitor and Seska. So it's good to start learning some of these because they do have like some translations where they're just great everywhere. And Picard Hue's one of those, right? And obviously we can go over sourcing. He has sourcing in one of the refineries that y'all can go through, but very, very important character. Zuli, good to see you. Welcome in. It is absolutely fantastic to see you. Walter says a 6-year player and still offs 42. Well, that if that isn't ignore FOMO, have fun, I don't know what is. So, yeah, that's definitely wow. Hey, you know what? I'm glad you're having fun, and I sincerely mean that. That's awesome. You've got to be having fun if you're sitting there at 42 after 6 years, because it's no exaggeration. You could free to play to 42 in 1 year at game restart. So that means you're probably enjoying your process, and that's honestly awesome. It really is. Ryan, good to see you, says, I know of people who got to level 40 over the course of 5 years and still have no idea what they're doing. Well, sure. I know people in G7 that enjoy the game, but constantly come to me with like copy paste crews. In fact, I'll give you an example. I did a video a couple weeks ago about Chang and how that classic officer can be incredibly beneficial to you in G7. But I specifically said in the video, don't use it on like a Crenshaw because the firing pattern doesn't support it. What happened? Literally the same day the video came out, people were tagging me in my Discord or private messaging me, including people that I work with. Rev, it didn't work for me. Why? So look, that's honestly probably more of an indictment on STFC than it is people, because it's crazy to think about. Remember, we're staring at a spreadsheet. We're on a YouTube live stream, but at the end of the day, this is a mobile game. This is a phone game. Phone, as in this thingy, the thing that when we were kids, all you could do was call your mom and, play Snake. Well, long gone are those days. This game is very complicated is what I'm saying. It is very deep, probably maybe too much so. That is what it is. So that's going to happen, and that's okay. So if you ever feel like, I don't know what's going on, you're not alone. And that's why people like me, Sugar Fat Man, Pseudo, McShizzle, Tibbs, who's here. A lot of people who are in my Discord love to help out. New Whistle or Noon Whistle. Happy New Year's to you as well. All right. Tell us about Galactic Rush scoring math. I'll be honest, Ryan, and I'm not trying to be a butt to you in any way. I'm ignoring Galactic Rush. Everybody here knows Galactic Rush is bad. There's no way for us to defend it. Do I understand Scopely's math? Of course. That's not the point. Galactic Rush is bad, and I just don't feel like having a New Year's Eve stream that's just us being upset. I would rather us be celebrating what we have together, and maybe that sounds like a cop-out. That's okay. I don't want to have my New Year's Eve be negative, right? It is what it is. So we're going to focus on the good things. Yes, it's negative. If you want to see me speaking negative, I literally was in the official Discord speaking negative. If I had an NDA, they would have ripped it again. So it just is what it is. it's another example of live ops trying to squeeze every single one of you for every dime you've ever earned, right? Who needs a New Year's Eve resolution? Not you, unless it's buy more packs. That's what they believe. But I do appreciate you being here, Ryan. I hope we can help you in the game. So, yeah. Yeah, Galactic Rush math equal buy more packs. Not incredibly inaccurate. I do want to say one thing about Galactic Rush while I have you, though. Again, I am trying to avoid the negative side of where the events are. But one thing I do want to remind everybody here. If you are choosing to participate in Galactic Rush, let me back out real quick and remind you. So, every day this week of Galactic Rush expects you to spend materials. Every day. One thing you need to remember. Now, play how you want to play, but I very much believe in keeping you informed. Every single day has the same format of mat spend. This weekend, there is a mat spend event. If you blow through everything you have during the week, you are likely not going to get anything this weekend. If that's important to you, keep that in mind. If it doesn't matter, then who cares? Don't worry about it. But remember, this format stays the same as we progress through the Galactic Rush, right? So like right here, you see mine. Again, I didn't mean to. Dang it, Ryan. We blame you. Everybody blame Ryan. Dang it, Ryan. Here I am talking about it. Anyway, stupid Ryan. All right, so let's just say as a G6 player, I was spinning G6 uncommon. I gotta need 1.2 million. That means I need to spend 3,100 for this first SMS. It escalates a lot. And if you will be blowing through all that, you're not gonna be able to do it this weekend. So anyway, we're gonna hop out of that because it is negative, and the higher level you are, the worse the scoring is for you. It is very, very difficult, especially for our G7s. So let's go ahead and use this as an opportunity to transition into what the theme of today is supposed to be, which is account reviews. Now, can anybody who is here remind me of where we started last week? I swear we started with G5, and I'm just trying to make sure we give everybody a chance. Where did we do the account reviews last time? That way I can just pick a different G range. So, appreciate y'all. Sugar Fat Man says, live ops bringing negativity in the game must be a day that ends with Y. Sadly, that's the case. And actually, a comment I made on the official Discord was, this has been live ops' problem since the Wrath of Conarch. We've had about 6 straight months of events that are clearly trying to bleed, not even attempting to bring fun. There's no value in really almost any event that's rolled out in the past 6 months. There's definitely value in the content. Wrath of Khan has tremendous value. Transigen as a loop, even though I hate mining 4 elements, as a loop has tremendous value. But the events have basically been poo-poo for half the year. That is what it is. We recognize that, we see it, focus on what we can actually change with ourselves, introspection, whatever kumbaya things the kids are doing these days, suicidal empathy, whatever it is, focus on that. So we did G6 last week, according to Dustin, Steve, etc., as well as James. So with that in mind, Valhalla, we may get to G6. Let's start with, let's just start with G4. We'll start with some G4 players, then we'll work our way up. If you're a G4 player and would like us to look at your account, see where it's at, give opinions, maybe give some recommendations, type your ops level in the chat right now. And then what we'll do is if I choose you, you'll need to message me on Discord, and then we'll discuss all the different things. So, yeah. Adamons Coom says, the game needs stuff for wells to spin on, which is fine. The main issue with Galactic Rush is simply that it starts out as a spin event. It'd be better if the first 2 or 3 legs of it were achievable free to play. Agreed. Look, I'm a firm believer that if you were to say have a 3-step program, let's just in theory say 3-step program for events, the first 2 milestones and levels should be free to play. The final one should be pay, right? So you get 33% more if you're a spender. That means you're guaranteed to be, I'm going to use one of our whales as an example. Bally Bomb, boom, you get 33% more of every event, right? Even if the final milestone gives 50% more, whatever. That's how I do things. That's clearly not how they're doing it this time around. So, Saturday spin event, do we know what the rewards will be? It has not been officially announced, no. But I will tell you this, no matter what the rewards are, you're going to get a heck of a lot more on the weekend than you will on a random Wednesday. And that's just a fact, Jack. Even use their logic against them. Clearly, they want you to blow through all of your materials now so that you're more likely to buy more materials then. So clearly, the rewards would have to be better, right? Just letting y'all know how it works. Valhalla, there's actually two. There's one for Officer Depot tokens, and I believe there's a second one. Wasn't there a second one on the list? Let me double check before we pick a player. By the way, the player that we're going to start with is Fredel Braun. Fredel Braun, please shoot me a message with your name in game and any questions that you have. And while I check the schedule, that gives you time to message me on Discord. Let me double check. So there was one for Officer Depot tokens. I thought there was a second, but I could be misremembering. Let me go look. So there is New Year's Material Mastery and Officer Depot Supremacy. The Officer Depot Supremacy is scored by spending Officer Depot tokens. And then there's a New Year's Material Mastery, spending materials. So, yeah. Is the new Hull Breach Prime worth buying or pass? Pass. Pass. My opinion, pass. Yeah. Save your money for the first of the month bills. Hey, my mortgage comes out tomorrow. Mortgage don't care if it's the new year. Mortgage don't care. All right. Good. Yeah, all the $50 packs have been coming out are not worth it in my opinion. Now, look, I'll give them credit for selling things cheaper, right? I'll give them credit for that. I'll give them credit for selling things at a cheaper price point. But just like the ISO pack wasn't worth it, they sold an ISO that was 20% to base for $50. None of these, for me, keep in mind, I'm a very, very light spender. No matter what, DW Viper and the gang yesterday made me feel like when we were doing our review of the entire year, I'm a very light spender. So I have to find a very particular level of value before I will spend or I'm willing to spend. And this isn't one of those. Now, for what that research is, let me go ahead and throw it on the screen while we wait for that player to message me. Here's the prime that it would give you access to should you spend $50. What you would get, and did we get the message yet? Awesome, we are getting it now. You would get decreases opponent's critical hit damage for 3 rounds if your ship is hull breached at the very beginning of any round of combat. So, what that means is, if you were fighting and somebody hull breached you, you're going to reduce their crit hit damage by 150%. Now, the problem with these type of things is it doesn't tell you how effective that is, right? And it's actually one thing I give a lot of praise to the other game that we work with. It's called War Thunder. When you do any type of efficiency in game, let's say you activate a 50% exocomp in War Thunder, it says, hey, based on the other things that are active, this is a 20% improvement, right? So it's a 50% exocomp, but it's a 20% improvement. This game doesn't tell you that. 150%, what does that actually mean? Well, at this point in the game, you could run into a player who's got 1,000% hull breach. I'm sorry, 1,000% critical hit damage. So you just took 1,000 down to 850. Was that worth spending 50 of your hard-earned dollars on? If you're a big spender who loves PvP, maybe. Also keep in mind that there are floors now that they've released researches and favors, including free-to-play, where your critical hit damage cannot go down to 0. That used to be a big thing in the game. Back in the day for PvP, we could create certain officer loadouts that brought a player's critical hit damage to 0, meaning their damage would get multiplied by 0, and we would 0 out all the damage they created. But that's no longer there. That actually went away as soon as the NX01 loot came around. So you can't take a player down to where their crits are negatively influenced. The best you can hope for right now is that you take them down to where crits only do a multiplier of 2 versus 0. So again, if you're a diehard, like you want to be the best PvPer in the game, sure, there's an argument for that. But I just spoke to what? 5% of the people in the chat, if that. And even then, will this individual prime change a fight? Unlikely. Like the only time this would be very effective Again, this is just me giving you my opinion based on the game's math. You can reach out to other people and get theirs as well. I'd recommend Quasel, Sugar Fat Man, Pseudo, McShizzle, Jules Verne. Plenty of math nerds who like playing this game. The only battle that this would change for you is if you ran into an opponent who is equally powered. I'll use Valhalla King as an example because they said where they were at earlier, right? They're level 70 with a tier 8 Crenshaw. For Valhalla in PvP, he would basically need to run into another player, level 70, tier 8 Crenshaw, similar research, and this was that little bit that put him on the other side of the leaderboard. But even that's a bad example because if he hits first with his Crenshaw versus the other Crenshaw, he's probably going to win anyway. So, yeah, it's just very long-winded way, which tends to be my style. I can't help but be long-winded. Long-winded way. This is not worth $50, nor has any of the packs they've released during this New Year's week been worth $50 in my opinion. At the same time, it sucks because I want to praise them. I actually really do appreciate them starting to sell things at a lower price point. And if y'all haven't noticed, this is becoming more and more common. Black Friday sales, Cyber Monday sales, weekly packs. Things are not consistently $100 anymore. And Scopely, I really hope you do hear this little bit of praise. That is a good thing. I'm glad you're making things more accessible to people. The only problem is you need to actually make good things accessible. Like right now, you can free to play Quantum Slipstream, and I'll tell you this as the largest numbers wise content creator that exists in STFC. If you started selling for a New Year's Eve special Quantum Slipstreams for $20, I would tell all of the 58,000 people who follow my YouTube channel to buy it. Just being honest. I would. Now, can I guarantee everybody would do that? No. But what I'm saying is, this is a good strategy. You just actually need to sell things that are good, not a random prime that people don't even know what it is. So, and by the way, the reason I use Quantum Slipstream, contrary to what people might think, is not just a PvP item. It works in PvP, but it also works in armadas, hostiles, etc. Quantum Slipstream is still, in terms of accessibility, the best FT in the game, and it has a free-to-play source, but it takes a while, right? But if you took an item that already exists and you sold it at a cheap price, I'd tell people, hey, you got an extra 20 bucks for Christmas money? Yeah, buy a Quantum Slipstream. Not going to do it when it's $100, but if you're doing sales, Scopely, there you go. All right, the player has reached out to us. Fred Rocks and says, any suggestions for the aggregation loop? Can't even take out one. So, Fred Rocks, do you have a log that you could show us of your aggregation run real quick? And that way we can try to use that as a point. We're going to pull up where you're at. You said you were a 46, I believe, meaning you just started hitting aggregation. Let me get this on the screen. You are... okay. All right, well, this also explains some things too. All right, let's get into it. Here we go. Hear you, Fred Rock. So the number one thing that I'm going to I have to call out is you are at the bottom half of players at your level, right? So by that, again, power is not everything, but you can make certain assumptions and even assertions based on this. You don't have research and ships where they need to be. They just blanket, right? That's okay. Again, one thing I love saying, and I've been saying a lot the past few months, you can never catch up in STFC because you can never fall behind. The game's constantly changing. But there's clearly some things that we're going to have to adjust and work on because you're ranked 3,159 out of 5,519. And people might go, well, why does that matter, Rev? Well, 16 million overall power is low because if we're talking about the people that STFC designs content for, and again, Fred, this isn't just calling you out or anything. This is just more speaking to the dynamic of how this game operates. This game designs its content for the top 10% of any level, right? So the reason I'm saying that's pretty low is, as you can see, the people who are at the top of 46 are 100 million power stronger. That's a massive difference, right? That's definitely a difference in ships. You're talking about people up here having high tier relativities, high tier pylons. That's going to make a huge difference, not to mention the research differences. So, number one, we're probably going to run into an issue where your player account is at. Probably also going to run into an issue with officers. So, if you would be so kind, Fred Rocks, shoot me a screenshot of just an example of the crew you're using, the ship you're using, against the aggregation if you have one handy, or just type it out and we can try to go from that. Murphy says, aggregation loop, I tell everyone to take the Monavine with Loot Crew until such time you can survive the auto debuff damage. And Murphy, that's not a terrible recommendation for mid-level players, which is what a G4 is. In fact, let me make a couple of other basic reminders that are easy to forget. Number one, the aggregation loop is built entirely around the building, right? So a key to being effective in aggregation is actually being able to hit them. And I think a lot of people forget, and this is just for everybody, that there is something called decay. So these, should I show the building first or the spreadsheet first? Let's go with the spreadsheet. So there is decay on each of these hostiles. Depending on which hostile you're hitting, the decay is stronger. So for example, the 45s and the 49s, you can see over in the red highlighted portion right here, start off with 25% decay, meaning if your building is not leveled, the most you could hit level 45, no matter what, is 4 hostiles. That's it. All right. So the absolute maximum you're able to hit until your building is level 36 is 4. Well, here's what it is. Technically, you could hit more as the building progresses, but the point I'm making is a lot of people forget about the decay. A lot of people forget about the decay. So no matter what, if your building's underpowered, you only can hit a few as it is. And that's just one of those like frustrating parts. Now, this is also why, as a reminder, we recommend people, if they can, to farm in the Dunt system, the level 49 system versus the 45, because the decay is the same, but the payouts are significantly better. All right. Still waiting on Fred to shoot me with cruise and or screenshot real quick. But yeah, this is still good stuff. Now, let me show an example of another level 45 player hitting with a Monavine. Now, many people already see people in chat going, well, why would you use a Monavine? Well, the reason that you would use a Monavine just simply being that could be the best ship you have at that time. Here, let me move this to the middle of the screen so it's a little bit easier to see. This also shows an example of crewing versus an aggregation. So this is Sugar Fat Man. He's one of our regulars. This is the guy that camped at level 39 for like 8 years. Like before the game was even officially launched, he was at 39 just saying, I'm not leveling up. So this is an example. To be clear, it's quite possible that you have a relativity that's better, or maybe, you know, you're at 45 and you invested financially in the GS31. There's nothing wrong with using a spec ship if that's your best ship, but this is an example of an older piece of content, Monavine, able to have success. But I do want to point out that Sugar Fat Man is the exact type of person I was just describing that Scopely and STFC design contents around. He's a top 10%er, right? So it's not as easy to copy and paste this, but it does start giving you an idea of what you can do. See if we got a response yet. We did. Awesome. Okay, so you're trying to use the Dauntless. Okay, understandable. I've jumped a bunch of levels in the last month sending a pic. Okay. I've also tried with an ISO crew. So let's put a couple of your examples up. Do appreciate you sharing. It definitely, look, to be very clear, it takes a lot of balls to be willing to say, hey, in front of hundreds of people, I'm going to stand up and show everybody my account. So kudos to you, dude. So you're trying to use the Dauntless. Number one, you picked up the Dauntless. I would actually say this, your Dauntless may not be your best ship, because again, you got a tier 1 Dauntless. That isn't to say the Dauntless is bad, but the big hang up, again, this is a reminder for everybody, but especially you, Fred, for a big hang up in today's game is below deck spots, right? I would even go as far as to argue that the most important part of PvE grinding has moved from above deck to below deck. That doesn't mean that your bridge officers aren't important. They absolutely are. But let's just use an example. Let's say you've got a tier 1 Dauntless and you also happen to have a tier 9 Pylum. I know that you don't, but let's say that you did. The Pylum, just by nature of having the below deck slots, allowing you to have Wrath of Khan Joaquin, Nurse Chapel, Borg Hugh, Blana Torres, that alone would drastically change the outcome of most of your PvE battles. This one, you've got one below deck spot, making it very difficult to support your bridge crew. So sometimes even the ship that's designed for the run won't be optimal for the run. You also send a picture of you using an NSEA, which is tier 5, which is not super low tier. It's also not super high tier. So just as a A question, do you have a faction ship that has more below deck spots? Or even a older special ship like we just saw with a monomine that has more below deck spots? That is a big key when it comes to even things like aggregation, is the below deck side of this, because it allows you to pump up, one, your survivability, but two, drastically increase your damage versus the aggregation to get them down as quickly as possible. Remember, the aggregation hostiles have buffs. Now, you can see them in the picture, but I'm going to go ahead and pull them up on the screen because we want to be able to actually click those buttons. I want to click those buttons, but obviously I can't. Like, I really want to go click that. So I'm going to pull up the aggregation hostile so I can remind everybody what are their special abilities, because a lot of hostiles in today's game come with special abilities. So I got to send a ship there real quick. So give me 1 second. Actually, let me send a ship that people won't make fun of because of the crewing. We'll send the Serene Squall. There we go. The Serene Squall actually has a hostile crew on it, so I'll send that. It's in the background. When it gets there, put it on the screen. All right. So let's jump back into the chat real quick. Murphy says, oh, already read that one. My apologies. Robert says they use Loot Crew, which is fine. Loot Crew will not help a level 45 though, right? Level 45 is likely, that's not going to help our friend here. So let's take a look at what we got. So, all right, let me take this off the screen. And again, this is going to go into why we're talking about below decks. So you have ship ability increases weapons damage by 5,000% and critical damage floor by 150. By the way, again, really making that whole breach prime that you could have bought kind of silly. So one, that's scary, right? Just as a big number, scary. And then we've also got this, increases your decay. So this is just the hypothermic decay and all mitigation stats. So one, we need more piercing if available. And two, they pump out damage. So if we can do things that give us a better damage creation, like ISO Cascade, Nurse Chapel, that's a big one. So number one, I would say, if you haven't already, just as a piece of advice, I've already done this on my level 38 account, FYI, is go into your event store, Officer Depot tokens. Don't forget to pick up this chest and not get Esri Dax real quick. But just to give you a heads up, Fred, I'm going to assume you haven't done this. Go to your Officer Depot tokens, head to this tab right here where you see that lady, max her out. Max out Nurse Chapel. Why are we maxing out Nurse Chapel? We want that ISO Cascade. If you haven't already, I'm going to very, very probably easily assume you've not done Wrath of Khan yet, so you don't have Joaquin, but you still have Pelia. Pelia, for your ISO defense, max her out, right? If you don't have them unlocked, Board Q, right? So there's several different things that you can use your Officer Depot tokens on, not knowing how many you have saved up. Board Q, this is a guy that helps you guarantee you have criticals. This is really big. Fred says, my NSCA is my strongest ship. Behind that, with the most below deck spots, would be the Voyager. Okay, send me a screenshot of your Voyager. We actually might be able to do things with the Voyager, maybe. But I can already tell you ahead of time, Fred, the main thing that we're going to do to actually get to where you're beating aggregation is going to get you to sit at 46 and start focusing. Start focusing. Now, Brandon says, don't do any of the officers right now. Wait to the weekend. Yes, Fred, be in mind that there is a Officer Depot token spend event this weekend. I would do it now in terms of me personally because I don't care. But if you, especially with your account being a little bit underpowered, if you want to take advantage of rewards, wait till this Saturday or Sunday to turn in all these Officer Depot tokens I'm telling you about with these below deck officers. But yeah, shoot me your Voyager, because if your Voyager isn't your strongest ship but has more below deck spots than a tier 5 NSCA, depending on what you have access to, we actually might be able to use that to our advantage. So yeah, shoot that to me. Fred, I hope you don't mind us going through all these different levels of stuff to help you with aggregation. But I think a big thing for you is there's a lot of research you need to catch up on, and definitely officers that you need to catch up on. And we'll just keep going from there, right? Anybody want to jump in on this, by the way? I like outsourcing this. Who else has recommendations? Who would like to throw a crew that they'd like to try out with Fred? Sugar Fat Man is a great example. Says, if you have these Strange New World Kirks, they'll let you bypass the aggregation shields entirely. With Hue below decks, they'll pump out decent damage as well. And that screenshot can be this one right here. So this is exactly why you saw Sugar Fat Man running those, right? That's why you have both Kirks. You have Strange New World James Kirk, you have Strange New World Sam Kirk with Pelia, so full synergization. That's helping remove the point of the shields. So if you did not notice in that screenshot that I posted before, look over right there, that blue bar is complete, even though the hull is dead. There you go. So these can be some effective runs for you. So below decks would then be where you need to get your damage creation from. All right, so your Voyager is tier 7, and it has 4 below deck spots. Okay, that might actually work. All right, I would also want to throw out that some of your crewing at top needs rearrangement. Like B'Elanna Torres, for example, and I'm sure most people in the chat would agree, B'Elanna Torres is basically a always never put her anywhere except below decks, because below decks, she is one of the most important officers in the game. Bob says the officer spin token is only 51 plus. Is it? Well, if that's the case, then Fred, you can do all the things we're recommending today. Let's double check that. Not that Bob of Borg is an idiot, just that it's always good to verify. So let's go into here and let's take a look. Weekend events. So this is for lower levels. Let's see what we got. Trust but verify. This weekend, you do not have one. Yeah, so honestly, Fred, you could be doing the things that we're talking about for officers right now. Right now. Yeah, so thank you for the call out, Bob. I did not remember that was the case. I think that's silly, by the way. Feedback to pass to the overlords. Why the heck would you leave them out of this? That makes no heckin' sense. That doesn't make any hecking sense at all. But thank you, Bob, for bringing that up. That means that they can go ahead and do that now. B'Elanna Torres is an amazing officer, but she's an amazing officer below decks, right? Not saying her officer ability is pointless, but hull breach is huge below decks. Now, Sugar Fat Man gives their below deck recommendation of Hugh, B'Elanna Torres, Nurse Chapel, and Picard Hugh. Now, Sugar Fat Man, I'm gonna need you to step off your holy pedestal. Very unlikely our friend here has Picard Hugh, so give them a 4th officer. So you put Hugh, B'Elanna Torres, Chapel. What I would do is Hugh, B'Elanna Torres, Chapel, and then I would probably do Harry Kim, right? Assuming, again, that they don't have Picard Hugh yet, because Picard Hugh starts getting sourced via the NX-01 loop that they're probably not very far into yet, which is okay. I actually love talking to people like Fred Rocks, because there's a lot we can do, man. It gets me excited to make this account better. Like, I swear we can get this account in a month into the top 25% of the game with just little changes here and there, right? So, officer wish list for you, Fred Rocks. Number 1, I would definitely target you more towards this as a bridge crew, the Kirks. And one big reason is these are really easy to source. They have a lot of sourcing is what I'm saying, right? They have a lot of sourcing. And then below decks, we want to get you Hugh, Nurse Chapel, B'Elanna Torres, Harry Kim. That's what I would recommend as your 4 below. Now, before anybody asks, the reason that I do Harry Kim over Neelix comes back to the research. The burning is fine, again, but remember, there's a key research here, and Fred Rocks, please pay attention because you absolutely need to do this. So if you go into your Star Path research tree, you have these right here that I talk about. These are the most important, right? The ones on the left side give increased ISO damage. Most important ones. But Harry Kim also benefits from this one right here. NS Morale SHP. Anytime there's morale on your ship, Harry Kim, because he gives you morale, will repair the shields every round. That's a big one. That's a big one. Now, another one, as Sugar said, is Wrath of Khan Sav. It could be very good here. I would probably lean towards Kim, but again, it just depends on where you're at, right? So we're gonna give you just a shopping list of things to go after. So this one, letting you repair your shields, can just give you a little bit of extra survivability that you need sometimes. For those that don't remember, the whole point of shields in Star Trek Fleet Command is they stop 80% of any non-mitigated damage. So it's also worth pointing out that both Brandig and other people in the chat have actually mentioned, Brandig and Sugar Fat Man, that your FC Kirk, which I'm going to assume you have, most people have FC Kirk by the time they get in G4. FC Kirk also has an ability that helps you as well if you have morale. So a few different things here that can be very, very handy and very, very nice. Where is that morale ability? I'm trying to remember where it's at. No. Yeah, those are just the officer stat ones. Which one was it? Dang it, Rev. You got to remember everything. This is embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself, Rev. Where is, oh my Lanta. Don't stop following. Unfollow the channel right now. Unfollow the channel right now. Was it this one? There we go. 6 times the charm. I knew it the whole time and I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I'd forgotten about it. Anyway, inspiring leader. While your ship has morale, they gain critical damage. I actually need to click that button. So this can also help you with morale below decks as well. Not only would you get shield regeneration, not only would you get ISO damage, also getting a boost to your critical damage, which is benefiting Lana Torres and Borg Q directly. Surely y'all don't expect me to remember where literally everything is the game is. Surely. Nothing else, you're laughing. So either way, hopefully you're having a good time. All right. Fred Rock says, I'm a returning player. I played years ago and stopped for like 2.5 years. And when I came back, I jumped from 32 to 46. Wow, that's a huge jump. I saw you mention in another video. Those have been the Star Path researchers I've been focusing on. Fantastic, Fred Rock's awesome. So what we really need for you then is to really focusing on officer acquisition, because going by your crewing, that's still a big thing for you. So officer acquisition is key. Now, good news for you, there's a spreadsheet for that. Of course there is. Yay, who doesn't love a spreadsheet? I'm gonna send the spreadsheet to you. You need to make a copy of it, okay? You need to make a copy. I'm assuming you know how to make a copy. If you don't, I'll walk you through it. You need to make a copy. The reason I'm gonna put it on the screen, so everybody wait a second. I already hear people screaming, I can't see it, Rev, it's not on the screen. The reason you wanna do that is, hold on, let me change this real quick so I can show you. And my drop down menu, is it working correctly? Hold on. This should change the value. Yeah, it does. All right, cool. So put this on the screen. This is the officer sourcing guide. This is, in my opinion, one of the best spreadsheets that we've ever come out with. It is one of the most boring spreadsheets. It's not very pretty to look at, but it is very, very valuable. Very, 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 very good. Now, there is a key to this spreadsheet that I think a lot of people miss. So I'm going to share it both in the chat and I'm going to message it to you directly, Fred Rocks. You need to make a copy. The reason you need to make a copy of this, and again, it's in the chat if anybody wants to make a copy. So you go to the top, you hit file, and you make a copy for yourself. The reason is, here's a copy. Believe it or not, I actually just switched. Making a copy allows you to come up to this where your ops level is and you change it. So what happens when I say I'm ops level 8? If you notice, a lot of stuff changes. So what this does is it tells you where to source the officers you're looking for. So for example, you're level 46, bam, now we can actually see the sourcing specifically for your operations level. So we talked about needing Balana Torres. Balana, let's just do Torres. Where's it at? There we go. Balana Torres has 6 sourcing methods for your level. Here they are: Rare Formation Armadas, ISO Matter Refinery, the Export Faction Store, Uncommon Wrath Recruit, Augment Faction Store, Officer Depot Tokens. So you have 6 different places that you could source Balana Torres. That's just one example. Let's go. How about Hue? Again, we're talking about the importance of Hue. There are multiple Hues, right? Well, the one that you're focusing on right here has 9 different places that you can pick up Hue shards. Obviously, Officer Depot tokens are going to be a big one. Let's make sure that was the right Hue. Yeah, that was the right Hue. Because here's Picard Hue. Now, Picard Hue is very, very good. But I want to point out that you likely don't have him yet. But he is very good. I would add him to your wish list. I would absolutely add him to your wish list of you want to pick up. But the first 4 I would tell you to focus on are Borg Q, Nurse Chapel, Balana Torres, Harry Kim. In that order, I would actually maybe change it slightly depending on who you already have. But unlocking those is key. Do remember that with Balana Torres and Harry Kim, you need them tiered up. Because if you don't, their chance of activating is actually quite low. So you really want to get both of them to tier 3 and arguably Hue to tier 3 before anything else, just so you can guarantee those are even activating. Yeah. Those are big ones. Now, I also want to point out, I don't know if you have it. You know what? I don't know if, do you have the NX01? I know you restarted 2 months ago, so maybe you don't. Do you have the NX01? Do you have it by chance? Just in the very, very, very off chance you have the NX01. You do! Biscuits and gravy. This is good news. All right, so if you have the NX01, and assuming you're in an alliance that is the Emerald chain that allows you to acquire it, there is a skin in the Alliance Tournament store I want you to go after. Now, you might have already spent your Alliance Tournament currency. If you did, no big deal. Get this on the next time around. You really want to get this guy right here. NX02 skin. Now, for anybody else in the chat going, what? Why is this important? Timbo, give me just a second. I'll go back over it. Why is this important? Because this doubles the payout of a chest in the X-Borg faction. Let me show you what it does. So, if you get this skin and unlock it, that's going to take you to this faction store over here, the X-Borg faction store. And inside of it is one of the best officer sourcing pools in the entire game. And it so often gets overlooked. Here it is right here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go turn off the setting that allows me to skip the animation so you can literally see how many officers you get from this. So I'm going to turn off disable frequent game animations, and we're going to go pull this together so I can show you how well this thing pays out. Now, again, you definitely want to get your NX01 tiered up. That's a big part of this as well, but let's view it. So this doubles the shards. Now look at the drop rate here. So you get 4 guaranteed rolls. So 4 rolls means 4 different selections for each box you choose. I'm gonna choose 6 of them. Hit that, what all we got? I got 8 Doctor Shards, 5 7 of 9 shards, 1 Janeway, 2 Chakotay. Keep in mind, all the rares are maxed. So all we gotta do is go do a little math real quick. Math is fun. Everybody here likes math. Anybody a fat math teacher by chance? That's 29 rare officer shards I got that turned into transporter patterns. So 29 plus 5, that's 34, 35, 37, 45 officer shards in one pull every day. Get your NX02 Columbia skin. This allows you to max out the Voyager crew, in particular the rares, very, very, very quickly. So if you don't have the Columbia skin, whether your name is Fred Rocks or anybody else, get butt over there and start doing it. This is one of the best pulls in the game that gets slept on so much. Shouldn't that be 48 shards? You actually might be right. Did they just short me? Hold on. 4 times 6. Bring up the calculators. Let's make sure. Then we double it. It should, yeah. Okay, Scopely screwed me, but me getting screwed aside, it's still the best chest in the game. Yeah. Okay. James Vaga asked a good question, and I can definitely explain this. If it gives you double shards, how can you get 1 shard? So it doesn't give you double shards. It's not really well worded. What does it do? It doubles the rolls you get. It doubles the rolls. So you get 4 rolls. What you actually get is 8 rolls. And yes, Baba Borg, it's every 2 days. My apologies, not every day. It's every 2 days you can do this pull. So you get 8 rolls instead of getting 4 rolls. So it doesn't, here's how the process works. Instead of, and this just goes back to them not wording things very correctly. Instead of it saying, oh, you got 3 shards of Blana Torres, we go double it. What it actually does is, oh, you can roll for Blana Torres, and then we give you another roll. So maybe that extra roll gave you Tom Paris instead, or gave you the Doctor, or gave you Janeway. So, yeah, it goes by rolls. It goes by rolls. Anyway, we've spent a lot of time with Fred Rocks. I hope you don't mind, buddy. And hopefully some of this is good information for you. But I also think it's really good because I know G5 players who are in the stream right now, not trying to call them out, but there are G5 players in the stream right now who don't have these officers maxed. There are G6 players in the stream right now who don't have these officers maxed. Me, I don't have Janeway maxed. I should, but I don't. Shut up. But everybody needs to have this pull. And this is like those little things that if you're doing stuff like this, it helps you really avoid the frustration of like loops. Because these, again, very important, very important, very important, very important, somewhat important. I really like, and somewhat important. I mean, basically everything is good here except Tom Paris. And he's okay. There's just better versions of Tom Paris. So make sure you're keeping up with your X-Borg. At 46, this should be available to you, as in you should have gotten your reps done, and you can make these pulls. And Fred says, not at all. Thanks for the help. Okay, so we've gone over officers. Obviously, ships are going to be big for you. What you really need is to continue work on below deck spots. That's going to be key. And just to answer the player's question before, how do we change on the spreadsheet? So go back to the spreadsheet real quick. Go back to the spreadsheet really quick. You have to make a copy first. So here's the original. You make a copy of it. So once it's in your Google Drive, you can then edit it. So then you go up to the very top and just where it says ops level, you just click it and say whatever level you are. So right here, I put 46 for Fred Rocks. Let's just say 63 for Rev. And you're going to see that change some of the values. So there's a hidden sheet at the bottom of here. Don't mess with any of the hidden tabs. But the hidden tabs have everything correlated. So it knows whether, if you're level 70, what you should see. Just keep in mind that you will need to update this spreadsheet, as in you'll need to make a newer copy every now and then for when new sourcing comes out. But you just go up here, change your ops level, and whether you're level 15 or 75, shout out to my friend Beam, who just hit 75, I think yesterday, you can see where to source everything. Now, there are still some officers that have no sourcing no matter what level you are, and those will be denoted with a gold box right here, like Strange New World Black Ops Mbanga and Strange New World Montgomery Scott. Wrath of Khan Savick, I believe, is still on this list of not having sourcing. Yeah, Wrath of Khan Savick still has no sourcing. But there are also some of these that have really, really good sourcing. There's some, like Hugh, who have 9 sourcing paths. So, Valley Bomb, good to see you. Welcome in, my friend. All right, Fred Rocks, I know we spent a lot of time on you. Do you feel like we've given you some things to focus on? Do you feel good about the account review, or do you still have more questions? Because if not, or if you're good, I want to get somebody else an opportunity to also get some directed help. Because this all does come back to these officers are going to help you get those aggregations. You're good? Awesome, happy to hear it. So everybody say thank you, Fred Rocks, for allowing them to look at their account. It's very kind of them. Because like I said, it does take a lot to go in front of a bunch of nerds, a bunch of Star Trek geeks on a Wednesday and be like, hey, everybody, here's my stuff. Shout out to Fred Rocks. And I don't normally do that, but I have a lot of people who are like, yeah, review my account. And you look at their account and like, oh, you're the ranked 7 player for your ops level. Yeah, let's take a look at how good you are. Fred Rocks is like, yeah, I know I just came back. I need help. Shout out to Fred Rocks. We really appreciate it. We appreciate everybody who wants to be a part of this process, but it takes balls to know that you're not doing well and you need help. So awesome for you, Fred Rocks. Let's do another G4 player. If you want to shout out, obviously I just gave a lot of good G4 goodies, but maybe you're a G4 player that needs help with a different loop. Drop your ops level and we'll help you out. We're doing one more G4 and then we'll also try to go grab a G5 or a G7, which will be Bally Bomb, which Bally Bomb's recommendation is Galactic Rush. Buy more packs. Yeah, buy more packs. Also, Bob, glad you enjoyed it. Bob, I really am trying to work on making sure I'm more specific about when I say things, where's that thing at? What is that thing? Instead of just saying this right here, that right there. Really trying to get better, Bob. Thank you for calling that out and helping me be a better CC. All right, Timbo, Ops 50. All right, Timbo, you're up. Timbo, shoot me a message in Discord with your name in game so we can look it up, and any questions that you have, preferably different than aggregation. Preferably different than aggregation. And yes, Extreme, Bally Bomb is on server 17. He is indeed. I don't know if I should have said that. My bad. No, he's not. He's on server 4,000,003. 4,000,003. Yeah. Timbo, his arms open. There you go. Seethan says, quick question. I'm on the cusp of Ops 36, but Spox Club says I still have 837 incomplete researches. Should I continue to camp and do more research? Here's what I would say. My recommendation to everybody out there, because there are so many researches in the game. Many of y'all have heard this. You already know what I'm going to say. Speed up researches every day. Stop waiting for researches. Even if that means you get to a point where you're blowing Latinum. Speed through researches every day. Because like you said, there are hundreds, if not thousands. And yes, Timbo, DM me on Discord. Here is my Discord. You just need to send me a private message. Shoot me a private message on Discord, and I will gladly we'll go through the details. So yeah, speed up researches. Just start blowing through them. I used to tell people to do 3 to 6 researches a day, which would obviously result in you doing over 1,000 different researches a year. You probably need to up that number. I'm actually curious, the other content creators like Ultra and Tibbs, if they'd recommend an even higher number. But we've reached a point in the game where you really need to be speeding through researches. Don't wait 40 days, 30 days, 7 days for researches. Speed them up. The game is giving you enough latinum in the low levels. You can afford to do it. You need to be blowing through these researches, because what happens is, Sethan, is you end up kind of like where you're at, where maybe you feel ready to move up, but you are missing 800 plus researches. Now, some of those researches could very well be worthless. Like, not all researches are created equal, right? Some of those researches might not actually be benefiting you, but some of them might actually be benefiting you. So start speeding things up. Doesn't matter what they are, try to obviously focus on the ones that matter to you and have more value, but speed up researches. And there's some that I'm saving for. That's fine. For example, I'm saving my Serene Squall ones for the mining sweeps, so I can get my mining dailies done without actually having to mine ore, gas, and crystal. Yes, please. Yeah, it just doesn't help if this account goes G7, but it'll help now. Anyway, speed through researches. That's a big one. There's just so many in the game today. You got to keep it moving. Don't get stuck just sitting. Get to clicking. Yeah. Prize in G7. Yeah, I know, Kramer. Now, I'll say this, Kramer. The way G7 rolls out is very, very painful early on to get you to spin. Then 3 to 6 months in, you get real big economy updates. You can argue you've already seen the first big economy update with FC Cisco having the efficiency. And then also you got a Vengeance one that came out. So you already see some little ones creeping in now. 3 to 6 months in, big efficiency start hitting. 1 year from the launch, you'll have a lot of efficiency that is hit to allow G7 progression to go a lot faster. And within 2 years, G7 progression should be to a point where you can easily free to play to 80. As in, JB should be 80 by then. So, yeah. Slag, good to see you. Says you should review my account. I mean, if people want to see an Op 73 account and cry, they can. Yeah. Tib says, I would say that all depends on how many research queues you have. I'm curious to your thoughts on that, Tibbs, because I don't see how that would impact it at all for me personally. Whether you have 1 queue or 3 queues, you need to blow through research. You need to blow through research just so you don't get behind. But I'm definitely curious your thoughts, hence me calling you out and making you answer and making you ignore your work so that you can come do my work. I was being silly, but happy to share if there is interest. I mean, I can show everybody how the G7 30-day chest starts giving you, 5 more G6 uncommon. I can show everybody that and they can get like, wow, it's so much value. I got to start some researches real quick. Researches. Which ones do I want to do? All these need to get done. Doesn't matter. Just need to do them. All right, we got researchers cooking. Anyway, my point was speeding through. Still waiting on Timbo. I think Timbo just messaged me. Yep, there they are. Let's go. Let's go, Timbo. What is your name in game though? Oh, it's Timbo Fleet. Got it. All right, let me go put this in and we'll take a look at where you're at, Timbo. He says, your main question is, how do I get tactical course faster to get to 51? But I think more research might boost my stats for ships in game more as well. Okay. Well, number one, let's go pull up where your account's at for all level 50s and let's see. You are. Ooh, okay. Timbo, I'm going to be honest. I'm not trying to put you in G5 yet. You're in a similar position to Fred Rocks, but that's okay. Because as you saw with Fred, we can give you some good recommends. So here's where you're at. You're currently ranked 5,074 out of 7,669. So you're in the bottom half of all level 50s. I would also say, like, if you're just looking for a power level of what you want to be at, just because that's going to tell you probably like average research and stuff, over 100 million total power. Just as a reference, the top player at your level is 3 times your power. Again, power's not everything, but it is a good indicator of, number one, ships and tiers, because the higher and more powerful your ship is, that drastically increases your power. Number two, your researches. So that's a big one, right? I would definitely want to pump you up a little bit. I feel like just to give you better ships and everything to get ready for all the stuff that is in G5. But a couple things to answer your question directly: how do we get more tactical cores? There are 2 main ways to get armada tactical cores in the game today. So number one is the classic way, which is the very, very annoying way, which is your armada chest. Running lots and lots and lots and lots of armadas. Here is your G4 armada chest. Now, we do talk a lot, these chests suck. The G4 armada chests are arguably the worst of the armada chests in terms of value for the ops level. The G4 are arguably the worst. However, as you can see right up there, rare armada tactical cores. You have to pull these. It sucks because you feel like you're wasting what at the time might be harder to get rare directives, because you're just not getting good payouts for it. But you've got to have these cores, and they're guaranteed. Now, there's a new feature that rolled out this year that also pays out rare cores that you might be able to take advantage of depending on how far you've progressed in the loop. And that's going to your away teams tab at the bottom. So click on like your alliance button and then scroll to the away teams tab at the bottom. And then you'll have this one right here: priority ACC and armory combo claim. Now, how much it pays out is based on operations level. But as you can see here, for me, I would get 6,000 rare armada tactical cores if I pulled this chest. This is specific to operations level. These are 2 main ways to quickly redeem rare armada tactical cores, which will allow you to get into G5. To be very clear, I would not recommend your account go to G5 anytime soon. Just, I think you're going to have the same issue that Fred Rocks have. You probably have a lot of officers you're missing. You definitely have ships and researches that I would personally recommend. But direct answer to your question, those two. So you want those cores. This would help you speed up a lot, but it would require you to be investing into that loop. Not sure if you are yet. You have officers not ranked up? Cool. We definitely want to rank those up because the hostile jump gets harder. And a big one for you, Timbo, is right now, and we'll have further sourcing for outposts coming in this new year. One thing that you're going to get hit with immediately as soon as you hit 51 is the game's going to be like, hey, new hotness. It's called outpost. You need to be doing them. And odds are you're not touching an outpost right now. And I don't want you to level into a frustration. That's what I'm trying to help you avoid. So we're going to try to help you power up some of those ships, especially officers, though. Those are going to be key. Officers are definitely the name of the game. And something that I said back in year 1 of this game still applies today. Officers are forever, right? We were just talking about officers like, the Janeway officers, Blonde Torres. Here we are. Once again, back on officers talking about how important they are. So there's your straight answer. And Sugar Fatman, by the way, who we just talked about being one of the top 10%ers at every level, he struggles with outposts at 53. Or and when I say struggle, he's doing them, but he's not dominating them. And he's a top 10% ops level person. So are there many ops 51 to 52 that can complete the lower outpost? No, there's not. Straightforward, there's not. But can there be? Yes. Like, for example, Timbo, can he do it? Absolutely. If we prepare him for that, he can. And for me, again, this goes back to style of play. I think it's a lot of fun that by preparation, you go into that content and you're already able to do it instead of working backwards, right? So, for example, Fred Rocks is playing from behind right now, trying to catch up on aggregation. That's fine. We'll help Fred Rocks catch up. But would Fred Rocks have enjoyed aggregation more if he was able to get to aggregation and just, bam, we're doing it? Probably. I mean, he would probably say in the chat, yeah, I would have rather been able to go to 46 and I'm doing the content. It's the same idea here. We want to do the same thing with, things like Outpost and even the Suliban hostiles, the aggregation stuff. We want to get Timbo in a place when he goes into G5, he may not be dominating it. Like, I'm not saying Timbo needs to get to 51 and he's maxed out 3 ships and the building and all this other stuff and he's doing 53 outposts. But I would like him to be able to do the 51 outposts and it beat it and at least start hitting some of those hostiles. So right now, he's not in a position to do that. Timbo, comments, questions on what we've said so far? You're definitely part of this process. I've got your chat pulled up right here. I can see you as soon as you talk. Hit me with what you think so far and what other questions you have following up, because I answered your main question, right? I answered your main question, which was, where do you get the tactical? What else can we help you with? Other comments, questions, or do you just want me to tell you, hey, do these things? Lube, what's up, buddy? This is quick. Buy that offer. You only have negative 21 seconds left. Yeah, I love this thing. Man, Lube, you missed it. And Lube, I encourage you to join in on me in this. The packs they've been recommending for 50 bucks are terrible in terms of what you're actually buying. But I love these sales and lower price points. They just gotta pick things that actually matter. The Hull Breach Resiliency Special, worthless. The 20% base ISO damage one from the other day, worthless. But man, this idea is amazing as a concept. If this was like the quantum slipstream, I would be telling all 55,000 people on my YouTube channel to buy it. So, now Timbo says, how do I get those easier? Seems like they are locked behind away team missions I can't win. All right, so that brings us to something that we can help you directly with and everybody else in G4 can benefit from. So, now I'm about to bring up an example. This is me showing you it can be done, not me shaming you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my level 710 account. I'm going to show you its priority one away teams. And the reason I'm going to do this is to show you that it's possible, and I'm going to show you how, okay? So all those priority one aways that you're saying, hey, I'm failing and I can't do, you just need to be pointed in the direction of what you need to make them doable. And that's what I love about doing these account reviews. We can give you what you need that you may not know what you need. All right, so this is a level 38 account, clearly much lower than where you're at. Let's go into my away teams. Here's my gas extraction, 70%, and that's one of my low ones, 70%. Speed that up. Thank you, Scopely, for always finding a way to, yeah. Anyway, oh, that's what I get for clicking too fast. I've jacked it up. All right. Okay, took a breather and we're back. We're gonna reboot. We're gonna reboot and we're gonna get back to educating. Yep. That didn't happen. This game is perfect. There's no bugs. It's in your imagination. Don't be a negative Nancy. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. See, that's what I say. We got to find the fun and the jovialness, the big smiles. All right. So let's go back in. And let's, I've got another one here ready. Let's see on this one. We'll auto it. That's not great. What I focus on these is obviously completing it. So we're going to go defense stats. We're going to replace Mr. Keenser there and get that one up to 60%. The best one I have, I believe, is the health stat one. And I can get health stat ones to 80% or greater at level 38. So what do you need to make that happen is the next question that needs to be answered. So number one, research. In fact, we talked about this on Lube Stream. Hate to give a British person credit, but we talked about this on Lube Stream when this came out. There are a lot of researches and even artifacts that boost your officer stats, allowing you to do better in those away teams. And if I can do it in G3, you can do it. So these right here, priority 1, tactical aggression, hypo spray technology, reroute into shields. These are just one set of examples of things that will boost the stats of the officers, thus making it easier for you to complete the priority 1 away team assignments. Not only do you have researches such as that, you also have artifacts which are accessible to your level. Not to my level, but to your level. You have Nero's Trident. Let's go down and find Nero's Trident real quick. Where's it at? Nero's Trident. There it is. Yep. Yep. All right. Nero's Trident. Why do I bring that up? It maxes out at 1500%. Now, while you can't max it out at Ops 50, you can level it up and you'll get a big bonus from that. So artifacts now can help play into that. right? There are fleet commanders that have abilities that boost officer stats. All of these things add up. More is more. It's annoying that they're in 20 different locations, but I just gave you 3 different things, right? I gave you one set of researches, bam, right there in the away teams. There's actually others in that same tree that are older officer stat researches that are easier to get because they require the older currency to do. Those are, which right here, hypospray technology, tactical aggression, and rewriting shields, right? So I was saying the health is one of my better ones. That's part of why, right? So let's go ahead and collect a research so we can do that one. So all of these things make those missions doable, and it's a time thing, right? That was one of the things that when Wrath of Khan came out, everybody said, man, the priority ones are too hard. No, you just needed to know where you needed to go to get the researches so you could start completing them. That's the big key. So what you need to do if you're not able to consistently win the priority ones is to, okay, now we're going to start focusing on these researches and these items that make it to where I get more stuff. For me, I'm going to stack, get that 60%. I'm going to start it. I'm actually going to speed this up, and we'll see. Maybe Scopely just is like, hey, you're going to fail everything you do today because we don't like you. Sometimes that happens. Thank you for proving my point, STFC. Sometimes STFC hates you, okay? You know what? But that's okay. Gosh, STFC, like, can you for just one moment, like, be nice, behave. For the love of all that's good and holy, behave for one freaking day. Just stop it. Just quit. You know what? I'm gonna launch the 57 one. I'm gonna do it until I succeed. I am. Speed up. Critical success. Thank you, STFC. My Lanta, what do I got to do to get you helping people in this game? Anyway, bingo bango. There's 760 Pioneer Crest. You know where that's going? Right back to those researches so that I can get these more consistently, and that way you start getting a stockpile, right? Then you can afford to start turning those in for those other goodie chests. Do you want to go through the math of how it's calculating the success percentages? I mean, I can. I can. Oh, there we go. A health one. That's what I really wanted to show off was the health one. The health one's the one that I consistently dominate on here. Bam. 93%, baby. Let's go. So this was what I wanted to show the whole time. Bam. At level 38, I can do 93%. Like, there you go. But so there's different weights here. So the officer stats are weighted as in one has more value than the other. In this case, the health stat has more points. So let's just say you had an officer that was defensive stat focused. Most people don't look at that anymore, but every officer has a focal point of stats. So for example, Brush has everything, but you go over to old school Spock, you see he's weighted to defense. He has very little health, right? So even though he's the main critical trait runner, he has very little health. So getting a health stat magnifies your chance of getting a high percentage. So then we want to come down here and stack health based on the menu at the very bottom here and move me out the way real quick. Watch, I'm going to go over there. Boom! Wow, transitions. So over there now, you see we sorted it by health. Now we're going to focus on that. I always recommend focusing on the key stat first. One thing I have run into is people have a misconception of how this works. So what they'll do is, I've seen people get their crit chance to 100 and they'll be like, Rev, why did this fail? Because the crit chance has nothing to do with your success rate. Success rate is right here. This is your chance to actually complete this and not fail. That is stat dependent, and you always want to load based on the key stat. Key stat means this stat has more value, meaning it gives you a higher percentage. So if you had 1,000 health versus 1,000 defense, the 1,000 defense would give you a lower percent chance versus the 1,000 health. So you want to do this one first. Crit is secondary. It's awesome. We definitely want to hit criticals, but you need to do this one first. I'll swear to goodness, if this 93% fails, I'm going to have a conniption fit on this Galactic Rush Wednesday. Don't do it to me, Scopely. I'm not. Thank you. I was going to butter your biscuit if you did it. But there you go, 1,400 Pioneer Crest for a level 38. So the key is, I get it. This game can absolutely be frustrating. Just take these little bit of things that we're talking about, these little pieces, work on them for the next few weeks. And then what you're going to see is, one, I'm about to be over there again. Whoop-pow! Whiplash. I'm goofy. I'm sorry. So do all these little researches, get your artifacts or Neos, Trident, etc. Start pumping up those officer stats, then start focusing on the success rates of these, and then you're gonna be able to then afford those other boxes. And there's also, an effect here where you get other great things, right? You can buy a lot of cool stuff with these. There's favors There's researches that help you get officers a lot faster. So we were talking about G4 players needing better officer sourcing. I shouldn't have started at 53%, but whatever. Remember, great thing about Priority 1 is it's going to drastically speed up how quickly you get officers. So even on this account, my DS9 officers are cheaper, right? If I do this one, I get Benjamin Sisko shards right now, right? TNG officers cheaper, Ferengi officers. I'm working my way down because I want to get the lower decks ones, and I eventually want to get the Voyager officers and everything else, right? I want to keep going down this track. But first, I had to do these. First, I had to get this stuff done so I can have some consistent success. Now we're going to start prioritizing working on officer sourcing for you G3, G4 players, and that's where the real, yummy gravy comes in. Also, Recruit Hugh down here, another one that can be very, very nice. Very, very nice. So you actually got to pay attention to your trackers right here, because I actually just said I was going to follow the top, but following the top means I've actually got to follow the bottom, because you got to follow the little lines here. But this one opens up at Ops 40, which you have access to. I don't have access to rares. To be clear, I'm doing all this with only uncommons. So you get access to start working through all of this. Again, it's just going to drastically help you out, especially with you looking forward to G5. Oh, man. Now, Hypo adds in sometimes an officer with a weaker primary stat can still be a better choice. 100%. It depends on the numbers, right? So there are some officers that just have better stats. For example, the Syndicate officers have very high stat numbers, period, and are typically very well balanced, right? High stats, balanced. Like even this one, only tier 3, you just saw the Spock I showed you. This has triple the stats of that Spock, even though it's weighted towards attack, right? So sometimes it can be better to just have numbers versus weighted. So if you've got 1,000 defense and the other officer is a health officer, you need a health mission, but they've only got 200 health, the 1,000 is going to be better because it can win out. Don't really think many of y'all really care to know all the individual weights, but you do really want to focus on this stacking. And Borg officers, Syndicate officers, etc., have really high stats. So when it comes to what officers do you upgrade for away teams, those are going to be big ones. You want to focus on officers that have those high stats. A simple way to figure that out, to be honest, the newer the officer, probably the better the stats they are. But in terms of accessibility, the Borg officers are an easy bet, especially stuff like these. You can see I've already got my Hugh at tier 3, level 38, right? And then the Syndicate officers like Grush and Mavery. The only problem with these is getting the stuff you need to upgrade, which I just realized this guy's sitting here ready to upgrade. That's officer stats I could have right now. Officer stats I could have right now. Yeah. How do I know when it is time to move from 58 to 59? I'm currently the top 58 on my server. If I move up, I'll be the 11th. So my recommendation to you specifically, Brett, without pulling up your account, I would want you to go to level 60 right now or this weekend. Why? There's no real reason to be at 58 or 59. There's just not. There's no real reason to be there. I would tell you to go to 60 and start doing those ships and having fun. Now, Brian also brings up another good thing. Mess Hall. Officer stat bonus. I need one more crew level and I can upgrade my mess hall. That is a fourth thing that'll boost your officer stats, Timbo, to help you out in this process. How can I tell which are epic officers? Color coordination. Now, if you are colorblind, I apologize. Not trying to single y'all out. But the borders here, blue is rare, green is uncommon, no border is common, and then purple is epic. You can also click on each officer and they'll tell you what they are in the little descriptor at the bottom. Here, I got to move myself to the other side real quick. I'm about to be over there. Whiplash! Right over there. See, it says epic. But you're looking for the purple. If you can't distinguish between colors, my apologies. Certainly not trying to call y'all out. It also has a visible identifier. And as you can see with Grush right there, I need to tier him up to max him out. I'm close to maxing him out. But look, 977, 977, 977 base stats. and then he'll go over 1,000 for each one once I max him out. I just need, you know, independent credits. Do I want to spend 65,000? Ooh, gosh, that's honestly a good question. 65,000 Latinum, that seems kind of worth it. I do want to do it. Actually, let's use this as an opportunity to reinforce what we're telling Timbo of why this is important. All right, so I'm going to speed this up so I can get those 2 officers back. Y'all just saw what my percentages were. Hey, another success. Let's go. 3 out of 5 ain't bad. Not for this account. All right, so let's go back into our officers. We're going to take both Mavery and Grush up because both of them are upgradable. Oh my gosh, all 3 of them are upgradable. We're going to blow through some Latinum today, baby, just because I love y'all. Long-term value, exactly what Slag is saying, is definitely worth it. 65,000 into that one, bam. Then I got also, okay, we, oh my God, I did not mean to click that. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 oh. Okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh gosh. Don't do that part. But the upgrade part do. Yeah. No, no, no. Okay. Okay. All right, we're gonna go back in. Auto. If you remember, these were in the 50s. Okie dokie. Yep. The good news is Lat is Lat's is grindable. Yeah. So that hurt. That hurt a lot. That wasn't fun. I don't like that. But if you can't tell, I've been farming Latinum with away teams, as you can see. Oh gosh, that was fun. Good content, great content. We love the content. Thankfully, I've got that oopsie chest that Scopely was giving out. That'll help me get some of it back. That'll give me 150,000 of it back. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. Mess hall. Yep. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Fun to watch. Oh, I'm so glad you're having a good time there, Bob. This just makes me so happy to know that you're having a good time. How about this? Whiplash. Back over here. Oh, buddy, oh pal. That hurt, man. It took me so long to get that at 38. Oh my gosh. It took a while. Timbo, I hope this has helped you. I do. I hope my pain has helped you be a better player. I do. I hope my pain is good for you. Lee darn. Y'all haven't hit that subscribe button. What are you doing? Oh boy. Have you done the away team research for the officer XP boosted missions? Great thing to mention, Sinbob. So come in here and I'll show people where those are at. Right down here. I have done the officer XP one. I have not done the ship XP one yet, but this is another good one. So what this does is it takes the missions in away teams that pay out officer XP and it multiplies it by 5. It's very good. As you can see at level 38, it's another thing I did. This helps me get more officer XP so that I don't spend 1 million Latinum upgrading officers. Yep. Because I wouldn't do that because that's silly. Why would we do that? That's silly. Who would do that? It's silly. But anyway, you see this one? I'm going to get 127,000 officer XP, which would have been really nice to have when I was upgrading Grush. But both of those, the officer XP one and the ship XP one, are useful. Would recommend. Okie dokie. I'm going to go cry in a corner. So thanks for your help. Sorry for the loss of the lap. No big deal, man. It's all good. It's all good. No big deal at all. I'm also going to go after this trade XP real quick. I do hope all this helped out. Going to wrap up this live stream. For those who like to attend on Twitch, me and my wife will be out tonight, but we're not going to be out all night. We're going to go to a game together, just spend some time together for New Year's Eve. Twitch will be a little bit later, but we do still plan to do a countdown stream. Many of you might be in bed. That's completely okay. But if you want to come hang out with me more, you have more questions, there will be tonight. Everybody, please drive safe. Do not drink and drive. I hope y'all enjoy your New Year's no matter where you are. Thank y'all so much for spending 2025 with me. It means a lot. I love y'all. Y'all are freaking amazing. Live long and plunder. I'll see you next year. Yep, I'm a dad. I can't help it. And if there's anything you need, remember my DMs are always open. Thank you for those who support the channel. And one quick thing before y'all leave. Number one, like the video. And number two, if you want to have more content like this happening, if you want to be a supporter, there's a lot of cool things. In fact, we have people in the chat who do it. But if you go over to revdeuce.com, you can support us every month for as little as $5 a month. Yes, I'm plugging myself. Enjoy the panhandles, right? Sign up to be a cadet, gives you access to the podcast. We actually just released a new podcast episode yesterday. We sat down with my wife, gave you a little of insight on us. We also do a lot of stuff where we talk about gaming. We talk about some of the insider information on STFC. So if you're interested in all that, or you just want to support the channel, check out our website, revdeuce.com. Thank you. Never required, but tremendously appreciated. I could not and would not do what I do without the amazing support of all of you generous people. I will see y'all next year. Again, love you. Thank you. And I'm out. Slag, I'm glad you enjoyed the podcast. Maybe you should leave a comment. My wife was asking me, what was the feedback we got? Well, if nobody comments, how can I tell her feedback? If you've listened to it, go tell what you thought. See you on the next one.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.